This phone has absolutely outclassed every other device in its price category, and I'm not sure many people truly expected it to be, even those who are in the know. This is perhaps the best Android phone you can buy right now, with a balance of basically everything you could possibly want. No other company has managed to match it yet, so let's talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and this phone is an absolute beast. I'm sure heaps of you have already figured this one out by now. I am of course talking about the OnePlus 13, which has been around for 3 months now and has received updates to some of the teething problems that it once faced. It also seems to be a better deal now, perhaps, than when it first released, which is quite interesting. It has impressed seemingly everyone, judging by the reviews and the discussion around it. But those of you who have followed this channel and my work for a little bit will know that I didn't find this phone's success a complete shock. Internally, it really did build on the already fantastic OnePlus 12, my phone of the year last year. Those who have rightfully praised the 13's cameras almost seemingly unaware that this is basically an identical setup to what we had last year, and the processing is just as good. I won't bore you with all of my OnePlus 12 photos, but that was definitely my favourite camera of the year last year. In fact, a lot of what made the 12 so great is here in the 13, from the incredible battery life to the immense performance, the super bright, fast and of course vibrant display, the phenomenally well balanced cameras, the crazy fast charging, the alert slider which has since been announced to be canned by OnePlus. By the way, little side tangent here, I'm not sure who is in charge of making these kinds of decisions over at OnePlus, but firstly, moving from OxygenOS to ColorOS, which is now called OxygenOS, but it's basically just ColorOS, then removing the charger in the box in Europe, and now swapping the alert slider to copy Apple's action button. Here's a piece of advice that you can have for free without paying me an executive wage every year. Stop doing what everybody else is doing. The reason that you've been getting praise is because your stuff is different from the rest. Read the room. Alright, sorry about that. I get passionate when companies destroy otherwise very good products. Since the OnePlus 13 launched in Europe earlier this year, several manufacturers have released competition to the 13, and pretty much every single device has not been able to keep up with it. Xiaomi's 15 is fantastic, but is smaller, less complete and costs the same, though is also not available in the US, which is quite a big deal. Samsung's S25 lineup released to lukewarm reception with no real innovation over its predecessors, and although the Pixel 9 series has seen significant discounts, I mean, depending on your region and your store, there have been some fantastic deals on there, I still don't think those phones can truly compete with this kind of thing, you know, especially in performance, battery life, value for money, and even really the cameras in certain scenarios in my opinion. Like the OnePlus 12, this is not a flagship killer. Don't let anybody tell you that it is. This is a flagship level product and I will die on that hill. The OnePlus 13R, especially in the US, is a flagship killer. The sort of phone that maybe OnePlus would have been known for back in the day, the OnePlus 3, the OnePlus 6, those were flagship killers, offering almost everything, but with great performance at a low price. There have been a couple of updates since this phone's launch, which have improved things like system stability, performance, and actually some that have notably improved the camera performance, such as fixing an issue with juddery video in certain modes, and also adjusting the colours and tones to fit more of what we had on the OnePlus 12. This was one of my gripes when I first tried this phone out. It didn't quite feel colour-wise, colour processing, that it was at the level of the OnePlus 12, but that's since been fixed, and yeah, the cameras on this thing are really impressive. I'm glad to say that since the update, the 13's photos have impressed me massively. Sure, the 3x telephoto might not be quite as sharp as the predecessor, but it's almost being matched in software there. I think it's basically the ideal setup for what a lot of people want. 3x is a really nice in-between focal length. I think it's a little bit more practical than a 5x, and of course, because it's a big sensor underneath it, you can pinch into 5, 6, 10 times and still get heaps of quality in the images. I know that tone and colour tend to be subjective person to person, and to be honest, this thing can't compete with the likes of the Vivo X200 Pro, but it's not designed to. It's designed to compete with the Pixel 9 Pro, the Galaxy S25 Plus, and the Xiaomi 15, which it easily outclasses in my opinion. I put this phone head to head with its competitors on this channel, and I found it to be pretty complete across all the cameras, the modes, the lenses, the resolutions. It's a really well judged and comprehensive camera setup, if not the out and out best you can buy. Performance and display are all well and good to be talked about on flagship phones, but the thing is so many phone makers are putting high-end chips and exceptional displays into their phones that it's almost not even worth talking about in much detail. The screen is still super competitive in brightness, resolution, refresh rate, and the A8 Elite in this phone still makes it absolutely rapid, not just for everyday users, but for gamers and maybe even competitive ones at that. I think battery life is perhaps more where this thing gets separated from the Galaxy Ultra. Samsung and Apple still aren't using silicon carbon batteries, which gives this thing just that advantage straight off the rip. The 13's battery is 20% larger than what you find in the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it translates to meaningfully better battery life. Like the OnePlus 13 is a 2-day phone for me basically every single time. That includes having my Garmin connected, Buds connected for an hour a day. That's actually really impressive battery life given just how powerful this phone is. And those certain regions don't get the charger in the box, which I'm really quite sad about, an additional $50 option if you don't already own a OnePlus 100-watt brick. It is super handy to have, and actually for the money you'd save on this over say a brand new Pixel 9 Pro XL or iPhone 16 Pro Max or Galaxy S25 Ultra, it's not so bad. I mean, a day's juice in 15 minutes, maybe for those of you who charge your phone overnight, it's not going to make a difference, but for someone like me who constantly forgets to charge their phone, this is actually a game changer. Look, this thing isn't perfect, it's a huge phone, and that's just going to rule it out for quite a few people. One UI is probably the best Android skin right now, and that might sway you to pick its maybe a lesser hardware in the Galaxy S25 series over this. Oxygen OS is pretty good, it's much better than it used to be, but it just isn't right up there with sort of the Pixel experience and One UI right now. And I once again don't find this chassis particularly comfortable, so I do opt to run a case on it, and that might be the thing that you do as well. Though I have noticed that a lot of people using these and reviewing them are happy with the chassis, so it's going to depend on your personal preference and your hand shape. The OnePlus 13 is currently $50 off, and depending on your region, a free pair of OnePlus Buds 3 comes in the box, which is a pretty nice deal if you ask me. And given that this is likely to be the last OnePlus with the alert slider, it's maybe the perfect time to go out and buy one of these things. Especially if you hold onto your phone for say 3 or 4 years. This is going to get another 4 major platform upgrades, taking it to 2029. As it's on Android 15 right now, it'll be on Android 19. If I had to get rid of all my devices that I have here, and I had to only pick one, you can bet your butt it would be the OnePlus 13, even if I didn't get on with it quite as well as I did with last year's option. The alert slider, the battery life, the cameras, of course that performance, they all add up to make potentially the best Android phone you can buy right now. Try as they might, other companies have come in and to try and shake the crown from OnePlus's head and have honestly failed. This makes the S25 Ultra look like a very bad deal on paper, unless you're super enthusiastic about the S Pen, DeX, and of course Galaxy AI. OnePlus is cooking right now, and fair play, they're making the best balanced flagship you can buy. Let me know what you think of the OnePlus 13 in the comments, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Did you buy one this year? Are you planning on buying one, maybe when the price drops a little more? Were you a little disappointed like me on certain things, but have since warmed to it? And if you're a bigger fan of another 2025 release that you think does it better than this, then let us all know in the comments and tell us why you would pick one over a OnePlus 13. While you're down there, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content, and of course subscribe to never miss another upload. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I will catch you later. Cheers.